Coming up on SBU-TV, an alumnus returns to give a global business lecture, and we grab a beer at a local brewery. Hello, and welcome to SBU-TV. I'm Ethan Kibbe.
And I'm Nicolette DiMura. St. Bonaventure University hosted the 5th Annual Kearns Global Business Lecture March 2nd in the Regina A. Quick Center for the Arts. Amelia Kibbe has the story.
It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the 5th Annual Kearns Global Business Lecture.
The St. Bonaventure community gathered in the Quick Center's auditorium in its third-floor loft to hear alumnus Richard Kearns and his team of Globetrotters discuss the changing global business landscape. As usual, the crowd nearly packed the auditorium.
Others came up here to the loft to watch a live stream of the event.
This year's panel of global business people discussed the current stock market, manufacturing jobs, the Brexit vote, and the role of the Trump administration.
An opportunity for, in an interactive way, for the students and faculty to hear what's going on in the business world.
Senior Vice President for a global brokerage firm and panelist, Jennifer Torneden, says the panel gives her a chance to talk to tomorrow's business leaders.
And hopefully we can pass on our learnings to others.
Other panelists, Donard, Gaynor, and Brian Kearns, say understanding the changing workplace is key to America's success.
We need rebranding of the industry, and we need training. I believe once we get a grasp of the fact that the jobs will come back, but they're going to be different jobs.
After the panel discussion, there was a question and answer session. Earlier in the day, Kearns and his team visited various classrooms. With SBU-TV, I'm Amelia Kibbe.
Richard Kearns and his wife Maureen fund the event each year. A video of the entire lecture will be posted on the university's main website.
The Catholic Church began a celebratory season this week, preparing itself for Easter. Here's more.
Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of Lent, a season Catholics celebrate leading up to Easter. As Father Ross Chamberland explains, it's a season of penance and reflection.
Lent is really trying to get us to refocus on the thing that matters most, which is our relationship with God and one another.
He says reflection and living without luxuries are essential to the season.
Taking some time to check on ourselves and our own personal life sometimes requires a little bit of getting away from the distractions that come in the world we live in.
On Ash Wednesday and Lenten Fridays, Catholics are also called to give up meat.
But what do dirty foreheads and meatless meals have to do with faith?
Chamberlain says the ashes are a reminder of the Bible verse that reads, "Remember you are dust, and to dust you shall return." Eating no meat serves as a small sacrifice.
It's not so much about meat as much as it's about this practice of giving up the things that maybe we take for granted. If you abstain from meat, I'm not going to have a steak, I'm going to have a lobster. You've missed the point.
So what changes are members of the St. Bonaventure community making this Lent?
I'm giving up desserts because it's tough.
I'm going to do less chocolate, less ice cream, and alcohol.
I'm going to try to practice silence, make time for silence and prayer.
I would like to implement some more fasting in my life because I feel like, you know, as you grow hungrier, your soul grows hungrier for Christ.
For SBU-TV, I'm Ethan Kibbe.
Lent ends April 13th.
St. Bonaventure adds a new bachelor's degree in health sciences beginning this fall. I have the story. St. Bonaventure has formed a new school of allied health to create healthcare-related undergraduate and clinical graduate programs.
Health science is meant to be an opportunity for students that are interested in careers in health, whether it's health promotion or health care. And this gives them the background with the necessary courses that will prepare them to either immediately get a job or to get into a grad school of their choice.
Healthcare science gives students the opportunity to learn about health and introduce them to the healthcare field.
My assistant director, Dr. Monica Thomas, we both love health. That's our background. And so it is something I've researched doing Masters in Public Health the last couple of years and other health-related programs in the Sports Studies major, which is part of our physical education department. My emphasis is always on the science and the health side of it.
Watson says that health science is a growing major and that it can attract students to come to St. Bonaventure.
Students are really looking into one of the allied health fields, so they want to go to graduate school in PT or OT or possibly PA or any of those other fields. So this gives them more background to go right into the allied health fields.
The university will recruit faculty and administrators to create graduate-level programs for students. Proposals for these programs will not go into effect for another 2 years. For now, the health science programs will be under the School of Education. For SBU-TV, I'm Nicolette DiMura.
For more updates, visit SBU.edu.
This week, in our series on local businesses, Madeleine Faircloth visited a local brewery for a drink, or two.
4 miles east of 4 Mile Road and 90 years since the Prohibition brings 4 Mile Brewing to Olean, New York. The 2-year-old brewery is the first to come to the area since Olean Brewing Company closed from the Prohibition era and is located in the original building from 1907. Director of Media and Public Relations, Jarrad Childs, explains the incorporation of that past into what the brewery is today.
We decided to take on the same brewery, the same construction, the same walls that was breathing with all of their their energy and all their passion. So it was really cool to bring it all the way full circle and, maintain this building and, maintain the history behind it as well.
How does a young brewery survive in an area that's been without one for almost 100 years? Child says it's because they are young and got to watch how other urban breweries made their marks.
We have the opportunity to see what other people have done and what they're doing. Not being a laggard in the industry, but it kind of is a positive manner where we can see what works, what doesn't work, and be able to modify our business plan accordingly.
The brewery, located on the corner of Green and Berry Streets, offers 10 beers, including seasonal and themed brews, and even featuring an American porter for the local St. Bonaventure Bonnies called Unfurl.
Can't choose just one? The brewery also offers a flight of 4. Choose 4 of your favorites, drink, and enjoy.
4 Mile is open Tuesday through Saturday from 12 to 10 p.m. and Sunday for brunch from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. with a full daily menu available. All brews on tap range from $2.50 for a 6-ounce to $13 for a 64-ounce growler. For SBU-TV, I'm Madeleine Faircloth.
For more information, visit the link below or call 716-373-BEER.
A local organization sets out to help those in need. Natalie Kucko reports.
Located in the heart of downtown Olean is the Warming House, one of the nation's oldest soup kitchens. The Food Bank of Western New York donates close to 500 pounds of food each month that St. Bonaventure student volunteers use to feed the community. I spoke with Director Jeff Sved on the impact of the Warming House.
It's a safe place for people to gather. It started out 40 years ago as a cup of coffee, donuts, and a conversation. And for many people, that's what they need, that hand across, welcoming them into this communal family.
The Warming House is open 6 days per week and serves food, warmth, and company to all who enter.
Sarah Rose Costello commented on her experience working with the organization.
This ministry as a whole has definitely helped the community come together. I mean, personally, myself as a college student, I have to say it's an awesome experience to get to meet some of the actual community members that are outside of the college campus.
Overall, the Warming House serves to help those in need. No matter the situation, they will always provide food on the table. For SBU-TV, I'm Natalie Kucko.
To get involved with the Warming House, contact Ministry Services on campus.
Recently, the Visiting Poets series came to St. Bonaventure. Katie Brown reports.
Last Thursday, Somali poet Ludin Usman visited St. Bonaventure University. Usman accompanied Dr. Danica Kelly in reciting excerpts of their poetry. Both poets spoke on the importance of bringing contemporary artists to the community.
I think storytelling and poetry is always important. The more we can do to share in that way and to introduce new art. Introducing and reintroducing contemporary poetry is always, I think, critical because we forget to do that. Sometimes we're looking at 50, 60, 70-year-old works and saying that's new, and it is, in a way, relatively new, but then there are books that came out this week, that we can also study and engage, and those people are living, and we can invite them.
Poetry, to me, seems to be a genre that is pretty accessible because there's just so much of it online that's free. Oftentimes our impulse is to read texts that people have said are important, right? So, lots of people have read the classics, right? They're like, oh, if I haven't read, Dickens or whatever. It's sure, read Dickens, but that was a minute ago. I think that there are writers right now writing who are speaking to the moment that we are in, who are speaking to some common issues that we are having, even if those authors are in different kinds of bodies that are different from our own.
Dr. Kelly emphasized the significance in actively searching for other perspectives.
Just exposing ourselves to different kinds of people, different kinds of work, just it makes our lives better. And that just seeking out that work, seeking out different perspectives, especially in this county, to me feels like an imperative. And that's one of the reasons I was really excited we were able to bring in Levin Osman.
For SBU-TV, I'm Katie Brown.
For more information, visit SBU.edu.
Up next, Hailey Gattuso explores the sleeping habits of college students.
Experts say the average adult should get 7 hours of sleep per night. But why? A Time magazine article recently looked into sleep and its link to longevity. One researcher at the University of Rochester Medical Center found that sleep allows for important biological activity. Sleep results in the brain releasing toxins. This allows memories to be stored in an objective manner without being clouded by emotions. In a recent study of 900 college students, 92% of subjects reported sleep disturbance and 78% of subjects reported daytime sleepiness. And college students report that using technology doesn't help.
Technology definitely plays a role. Just staying up on your phone, even sometimes I'll be sitting on my phone for an hour before I go to sleep.
Here are some other views reported by St. Bonaventure students.
I think in college, most people want to get their work done before sleep, especially if they have a test or a paper they got to get done. They usually wait for the night before, so they'll stay up all night to get that done.
If you're going out on the weekends and then you stay up, let's say you stay up 2 days in a row till 3 a.m., the sleeping pattern is going to change.
I think adjusting to the workload is difficult for people to get used to, so they think they have to stay up later to get it all done.
Students who eat breakfast, stay active, and stay away from caffeine reported to have less trouble sleeping. For SBU-TV, I'm Hailey Gattuso.
Who communicate with their parents on a regular basis also reported having an easier time sleeping.
Katie Tercek has been fighting off the cold this week and preparing for spring break. She has the inside scoop on where St. Bonaventure University students are heading for the break.
Spring break officially starts for the St. Bonaventure University students March 4th, giving them a chance to heal from their wipeouts on these icy staircases.
Dating back to the 1930s, spring break has existed. With the help of the 1960s film Where the Boys Are, spring break is an ongoing tradition that college students partake in from March to April. I asked St. Bonaventure University students where they were spending their spring break.
Cabo San Lucas,
Orlando, Florida,
Cancun, Mexico.
Hopefully for your spring break, you won't be slipping on any ice. For SBU-TV, I'm Katie Tercek.
Students hope there will be no more ice patches to slip on when they return from break.
That's all for us here in the Coop. I'm Nicolette DiMura.
And I'm Ethan Kibbe. Thank you so much for watching, and have a marvelous day.
Hello and welcome to the Wolfpack Report. I'm Brittany Slomba.
And I'm Joe Ceraulo. Today we'll be sitting down with women's basketball forward Gabby Richmond, women's club basketball captain Julie Curran, and a special report later from Ethan Kibbe with the track team's assistant captain Duran Wells. Welcome back to the Wolfpack Report. I'm Joe Ceraulo, joined here with senior forward for the St. Bonaventure women's basketball team, Gabby Richmond. Gabby, thanks so much for coming in today.
No problem.
Now, I want to know, playing under Jim Crowley for most of your time here at St. Bonaventure, what was the adjustment like your senior season with a new head coach and Jesse Fleming taking over?
Obviously, it was an adjustment because Jim Crowley was an experienced coach. He coached for about 20 years, and Jesse was a new coach. So it was definitely a difference between like the consistency. So Jim Crowley, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He's been doing the same thing over and over, so he was pretty consistent. But I think Coach Jesse was basically finding his way this year. So I would say it was a difference in the plays we run. So with Coach Crowley, we were very simple. Then with Coach Jesse, we had a lot of plays. So I think that over the years, he'll probably adjust that. They have different. They basically have the same style of coaching in a way. So that was pretty much the same, but it was pretty different overall, though.
Now, what about your role on this team? Obviously, starting for pretty much every game this season, and now being seen as a leader both in the clubhouse, on the court with such a young squad. How did you have to mentally prepare yourself in the preseason to take on this new role?
I've never been a captain or I was never the oldest one on the team, so this was definitely a new role for me. I would say that I just had to learn how to embrace it more so than shy away from it. So on and off the court, I had to be more vocal. I'm not really the most vocal person, so that was different for me. But my teammates made it easier because we get along really good this year. So it made it easier to talk to everyone. I think that on and off the court, I think everybody was able to talk to me, so that made my role a little easier. But from my record, you can obviously see that we struggled a bit. But like I said, it was a growing year, so it just comes along with meshing and learning your teammates. And like I said, I wasn't a leader before, but I did the best I could.
Now, I want to look at your background a little bit. Coming from Morgan Park High School, obviously a tough area in the south side of Chicago, how did that shape the type of basketball player you are?
I would definitely say it shaped who I am as a basketball player. Chicago's pretty tough, so that's probably where I get my toughness from. When I came in, Coach Crowley, he told me my role was to be a post player who was tough, and he wanted me to rebound and play defense. So coming in, I knew that that's what he wanted my role to be, and I just carried it on from high school. So high school definitely taught me just to be tough and take the hits or give the hits.
Well, you certainly gave a lot of them out this year, and you led the team in double-doubles, so obviously embracing your role as a post player. Now, I want to talk about your pregame ritual. Is there anything about Gabby Richmond that we don't know? What does she eat before games? What type of music do you listen to? Give us some insight there.
I'm not the most, what's the word? I'm not really superstitious, but I would say two things that I do is I have like a game day playlist, so I listen to music that's like gonna get me hype. I don't really listen to like slow music or like like pop or anything. Like I listen to like probably hardcore just to get me in game mode. And then my other ritual would be that I like to braid my hair. So I'm having fun. I had fun with it this year, so I would either do like a braid coming from this side and this side, or I would do like a braid going down. I've had 2 braids before. That's probably my ritual. I probably wore a ponytail maybe like 3 times this year just because I just wanted to switch it up. I was tired of the braid, but that's probably the only thing that I do as an actual ritual.
Now, being a senior, unfortunately, your last game was at LaSalle this past weekend. What's next? What do you see yourself doing going forward? Do you see yourself pursuing an opportunity to play ball perhaps overseas at the next level, or is it time to enter the workforce?
That's a question everybody wants to know, but I put a lot of thought into it, obviously, because I love the game and nobody wants to just stop playing. But because of everything my body has been through, I think that I'm just going to go into the workforce. I gave coaching a thought, not really sure, but I want to go into sports marketing. I'm going back to Chicago, so I'm looking to find a job in downtown Chicago because I'm getting my MBA this year, so hopefully that'll help me get the job that I want. So.
And finally, what's your favorite memory, something that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life from your playing days here at Bonas?
Has to be the NCAA tournament. That was probably the best memory that I'll always cherish. Even after this season, like, nobody can ever take that away from that team. My junior year, going down to the NCAA tournament and winning a game was even better.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Gabby.
Thanks for having me.
Now we're going to go to Brittany Slomba with an update on the women's club basketball team.
Welcome back to the Wolfpack Report. I'm Brittany Slomba, here with senior captain for the St. Bonaventure women's club basketball team, Julie Cran. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So can you talk a little bit about the importance of having a club basketball team on campus?
Absolutely. I have always loved basketball. I would have loved to play in college, but apparently no one needs a 5'7" center forward in college basketball, so here I am. I played intramurals for a couple of semesters, and I was the only woman in the league. And as much fun and as gracious as those guys were that I played with, it's really a very different game. So being able to play it again with girls and play it the game that I know best with friends is just absolutely phenomenal.
And as a captain, can you talk a little bit about your role as a role model for all these other girls?
Sure. I think it's definitely my role to stay poised, especially in games. I know something that I often struggle with is if my shots aren't falling, then I start to get frustrated. And if I start to get frustrated, they're going to get frustrated. So I think it's really important for me to keep a positive outlook, even if in my head it's not the same way. So that's been one of the things that I focused on this semester.
And when did you realize that your team was finally starting to come together and join?
The first tryout was definitely really exciting, just realizing that after all this time I could finally play again was really exciting, but realizing I think prepping for our first tournament, starting to run plays and thinking oh, this is going to be in game time, this isn't just pick up anymore, we're actually playing in a real game. So I think that was the first time that I really felt our whole team coming together.
And why did you decide to go ahead and make a club basketball team?
Kind of like what I said, playing with the guys is a completely different game. They were always polite and everything, but a lot of times it puts guys in a weird position. They don't want to play too hard and hurt you, but they also don't want to get beat by a girl. And so being able to play with girls again was a big goal of mine. And then when I found out that there were some incentives to start some more women's club sports, I was absolutely, sign me up, I will do this. And here we are.
And how is your team doing so far?
So we actually just played a tournament on Sunday and won the tournament. So really, really exciting as our first year as a team. So we've played in 2 tournaments so far. The first one we won 1 game and lost 2, but they were all close games. So I was thrilled with our performance as a team.
And as such a young team, how do you keep the composure after a loss? What do you say to your girls?
I don't really have to say anything to them. They're inherently just so positive. Coming from the bench, everyone is just giving tidbits of constructive criticism, not even criticism, they're just saying awesome rebound, great shot, keep shooting, all of that kind of stuff. So especially we've only lost a couple times, and even so they were really close games, so no one had any kind of negative attitude leaving any of those games. So I haven't had to do pretty much anything about that.
When is your next tournament?
We'll be hosting a tournament on March 25th. So we're still waiting for some RSVPs from the other teams, but otherwise we're really excited for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Slomba, and this is Julie Cran. We'll be back with Ethan and a runner from the St. Bonaventure cross-country team.
Hello, and welcome back to the Wolfpack Report. I'm Ethan Kibbe. My guest today is Duran Wells, an assistant captain of the newest Division I sports team here on campus, Track and Field. Duran, thanks for being here.
Of course, no problem. Nice to be here.
Now, there's a couple things we could talk about today. We could talk about you or running in circles, and I feel like your life is probably a little bit more interesting. So if we may, we'll start there. Can you tell me about the journey that led you to running here at St. Bonaventure?
Okay, so running has always been a big part of my life. I started running in 5th grade. It was kind of like a fake track team. We were pretty much just in the gym. We never really competed. It was kind of just one against each other. So that's where it all started. Middle school, that's when it kind of got serious. That's where we competed against other middle schools. Running has been more than a sport for me. It's been therapeutic. I kind of depend on that team atmosphere to have someone to always like rely on, someone that understands like what I'm going through. So that's what running has been. Then going on to high school, running 4 years there, being captain junior and senior year was awesome. Something I wanted to carry over in college. Coming to Bonaventure, I initially wasn't running here. Then I was able to get in contact with Coach Mack and was given the opportunity to run for Bonaventure, running cross country and track. So that's kind of how I ended up coming here. And
so you walked onto the program?
Yes,
then? I did. And what's that been like, the experience as a walk-on member?
I feel like there's kind of a stigma being a walk-on as opposed to being like a recruit. That's not something I ever felt. Being on the team, I was embraced, never felt like I was something different than anyone else on the team. I was always just on the team. I was just a teammate. It's never been anything different for me. That's something I really appreciate because, to be honest, in the beginning I was scared that I was going to be treated differently. I felt like maybe there's a possibility I was going to be looked down upon, but that's never something that actually happened, so I'm really grateful for that.
And on that same note, you're a walk-on, you're now an assistant captain of the team. Is that dynamic odd where there's guys that you know are receiving scholarship money to run? You've walked onto the program and you're the boss of sorts. You're in charge.
I wouldn't say the dynamic is it's a little not weird, but it just goes to show that if you work hard and you show that you're dedicated and you're there for the team and you have great leadership qualities, that it'll be rewarded regardless if you're getting a scholarship or not.
You talk about dedication. Take me through a typical week of training for you.
Lots of miles. Typical week of training. So Sundays are off days. Mondays are Mondays. They suck being a student. And then you have to add running some miles to it. So that's tough, but like I was saying earlier, running is therapeutic. So after the stress of going to classes on Monday, I have like a long run or just doing what I love to do and having that be my relaxation for the day is great. And then just keeping that going, and then we have team workouts twice a week on the track. Track and field, like cross country, love it because I love running, but track has always been my heart. Running in that circle, as boring as it may seem, has always been what gives me happiness. So getting to do that at this level with my team, my brothers, it's great. So that's pretty much what the week is, just a bunch of running, but I love it. It's worth it.
And you talk about running being therapeutic. You hear the term thrown around a lot, runner's high. What does that mean to you?
Runner's high. Runner's high is such a real thing. I normally feel it after like the 4th mile of a long run. To be honest, like the beginning, you're like, oh my, I can't do this. Especially in this weather when the air is so crisp and you're just like, why am I? I'm just going to turn around. And then after you hit like mile 3, I start to feel better. My stride opens up. I feel more comfortable. Mile 4, I'm just like, this is great. I run with a smile. Even if I'm pouring sweat, I don't care what the weather is around me. I'm just like, this feels great. In my mind, runner's high, it's not just like I feel great, but it's kind of just that moment where your body feels at one with what you're doing. A lot of people are like, oh, running. But it feels natural. Everything flows. I can tell when I'm starting to feel runner's high because, like I was saying, my stride opens up. I feel comfortable. I don't worry about my breathing. I don't feel out of breath. I just feel right.
And what's been the best part of your experience with the team here so far?
Best experience? I think one, this is going to sound, I guess, whatever. So we had a long run with our assistant coach who ran for Bonaventure, and she was a top runner here. And it was a comforting moment. This is how I think of it. Being a walk-on and kind of having that, do I belong here, that thought in my head sometimes. We were running and we were hitting crazy fast times during the run, and I felt comfortable, like I was saying. I felt right. And that moment, especially after when my coach Catie, came up to me and was just like, good job, like you looked good out there. Having that was probably one of the top moments, like running with my team. We're all running at the same pace. We're all doing what we love to do. And kind of like we were talking about earlier, the difference between being a walk-on and receiving a scholarship, it didn't matter at that point. We were all running together. We were all running the same times. We were all the same. We were all one. So that was a big moment.
And I'll let you go on this. Could you tell me first about your schedule here for the spring and the track season, and also what you're hoping to accomplish in it?
So we have less than a month until our first meet, April 1st at Geneseo. How I'm feeling about it, obviously there's nerves. There's always nerves when you're getting ready to like do anything. But there's more excitement. I can't wait to get back on the track. This is Bonaventure's first time having a track program. It's my first time being back on a track since senior year of high school. So it's been 2 years. I can't wait to get out there and just show everybody what Bonaventure's made of.
Thank you so much for being here,
No
bud.
problem.
I appreciate it. That's all for this rendition of the Wolfpack Report. For Joe Ceraulo and Brittany Slomba, I'm Ethan Kibbe. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune back in next week when we'll have more updates about the St. Bonaventure sports world.